Sir, I'm having 8 years of experience in IT field. I was working for a product-based company. Our product comprises of warehouse management, distribution management, order management. We give value-added services also for pick and pack, routing, tracing, and tracking. And our product covers company's complete logistics activities. Um, I was working in both development and testing teams. Um, in development, I was we were using core Java and J2E concepts. In testing, I do review of functional and design specifications to understand the application. And I have developed, documented, and maintained test cases. I was in production emergency bug fixes also. And I have given post implementation support also. In
Mhm.
personal side, I'm having two daughters. My elder daughter is in 11th standard. She wants to do MBBS. To give her additional support monetarily, I thought I can come back for work and I can help her to achieve her dreams.
Okay, that's great to know about you. So coming on to the application that you have tested or developed, can you please brief me about the application, what kind of application it is, and to
Mm,
what client you have worked, and what is your roles and
um,
responsibilities there?
I had worked for five or more clients, sir. I was
Okay,
working in that company for 7 years.
okay,
It is a product-based company, sir. So we sell our product to all those companies. So it is comprises of the supply chain management. We do the warehouse management. We do in warehouse management. Uh, we put our product in a place where uh,
okay. What is the name
we
of
will
the application?
Elite. It is called that
Yeah, light.
product is called Elite. Yes.
Okay. Do you know any technologies that being used in Elite, like front end and back end technologies?
Um, J2E concepts and Oracle SQL Server we use
Okay.
for database.
What about
We
the
used
front end?
front end Java J2E is servlets
Okay.
JSP and
No, no.
JS for
Front end, like what kind of framework it is, like JS or JavaScript
J-
based or
JavaScript based only. Sir.
okay, okay. So you are part of this Java team, right? Backend team.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, okay. What are all your roles and responsibilities in the team, like in terms of development is concerned?
Um, we will be given a part of a requirement. We have to
Okay,
develop code. We do unit testing and we just send it to the testing team. If there is any bug, we will again fix it.
okay, okay. And what was the methodology of software development process you have followed? Is that the conventional waterfall model or agile approach or something like
Agile
something?
approach.
Okay,
Agile approach we follow, sir.
okay,
Uh, in every day we will have a development meeting, and we need to report to that to our team lead. We used to report what and all we have done and what we are going to do it for tomorrow, and what are all the pending works. All those things we will every day we will update to the team leads.
okay. And coming on to this testing side, when you have been moved to this testing team as a tester, or is that the job something like no, you'll be doing both the responsibilities like development and testing?
It was under it was our project lead's discretion, sir.
Okay,
We all will together be in. If he decides us to move on to testing team, we will go there and we'll do testing. Everything everything is his decision only, sir. There was no
Okay.
separate testing team or
Okay.
development team.
Understood.
For,
Understood.
for
So
one,
yes, there is no separate testing team. You will be
yes,
doing both the activities. Like all the
yes,
developers are
project.
responsible for both development and testing.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
that's great. Okay, what was the project management tool you have used, like Jira or?
I don't remember, sir.
Okay, so how will you get the requirements from the product owner or business team?
Team lead, team lead will assign, sir.
Sorry,
Team lead will assign. Team lead will assign, sir.
that's
Every
okay.
team lead will assign.
Okay, where do they keep all the information? Like through mail or do they have some other
In
application?
uh, once we fix the code, we use that visual source safe thing will be there, no, sir.
No, that's okay. Like
Mm.
whenever you are going to develop a new feature, you need to get the requirement from the business team or product owner,
Mm.
right? How they will give the
The-
requirements to you, like in terms of user stories in Jira or some other
mm,
application, something like
no,
HPL. You are
no,
not
sir. They
using
will just
any tools. Okay.
no, sir. You just send it in through mail, sir.
Okay. Okay. I got it. Okay. And coming on to manual testing, like what is the approach you have followed to test a particular feature? Like, what was the different life cycles you follow to
Uh,
complete the end-to-end testing?
Once the bug is identified, we will put it in project tracking system with a ticket ID, and it will be assigned to the developer, and the developer will do the bug fix, and he will send it to us.
Now, see, consider I am getting a new feature. It has been
Okay.
developed by me, and my manager wants me to test the same. He wants me to complete both ST and SID. Say, for example, how do you proceed with like unit testing or system integration testing? What was the plan that you were able, and how do you arrive scenarios, test cases? Will you follow all these things, or it will be tested based on the given requirement?
It will be tested based on the requirements, sir. We will develop test cases, and we will tell to them these are all the test cases I have identified, and once he approves, once the TL approves, we'll do that. We will think that test cases and test scenarios are appropriate, and we will do that testing based on that requirement.
Okay, okay. So when you are writing the test cases, what are all the factors that you will consider while writing the manual
Um,
test
uh,
cases?
Serial number, test scenario, test case ID, uh, test case description, test data, expected result, actual result, and the status.
No, that's okay. It's all about the template of test case. But I'm asking
Okay.
what are all the different technical and non-technical factors that you will consider while writing the test case? See, consider I have a bank application. I'm getting the
Okay.
new feature for doing a payment transaction from the client to the merchandise, like Amazon, Flipkart. So
Mm,
whenever I order some product, the payment option should be enabled for this so and so bank.
mm,
So
mm,
I'm working on this particular bank. This merchant payment option should be enabled. So this is my feature.
mm,
How do you test it,
mm,
and what are all the factors that you will consider for deriving scenarios?
mm. You're asking about the design techniques.
Correct, correct. Design techniques.
Um, I'll mm, I'll use design decision table.
Okay.
You want the exact answer for that thing, sir?
No, at least you can tell me what are all the approaches that we will use while building the test cases. Or you can tell me the high level scenarios, like for this, take this particular requirement where we need to build a merchant payment option via internet
Mhm.
banking. So
Mhm.
to have this feature, what are all the different scenarios that you will arrive?
Uh, I'll check whether the user is already assigned or not.
Great. Okay.
Then I'll check whether his payment terms are valid.
Okay.
Uh, and then uh, uh, sorry, sir.
No problem. When the requirement comes in, first the first
Mm,
testing plan is arriving this scenario. Like so, before we
mm,
start developing our test cases, we need to arrive these scenarios, right? You can
yes, sir.
maybe think in two different way. Like one is on the positive side, another one is on the negative side.
Yes,
Like
sir. Mm,
with
yes.
respect to the functional flow, I'm telling. If it is
Okay, sir.
positive functional law, how the test cases will be or how the scenarios will be arrived. And on the negative side, take one wrong user. He is trying to
Mm,
pay the merchant via um, invalid
well,
OTP or invalid
mm,
authentication, something like that. So in this way, you need to arrive these scenarios, high level scenarios should be arrived.
mm,
Okay.
okay.
Okay, no
Yes.
problem. So, coming on to this test data part, take your application, how the test data will be prepared. Uh,
Mm. Using boundary value analysis, uh, using equivalent class partition, state transition, decision table, and error guessing ways, I will arrive the test data.
Now, it is for test design technique, like, no, for developing a test case, you need to follow all these process. What I'm asking
Okay,
is
sir.
to test a particular test case or particular scenario, how you will
Mm,
prepare the test data for your application. So consider from your application and tell me, like take your own application and tell me how the data will be prepared in your case, or will it be available in the database, or how do you get the data? How do you set up the data? So take this example, like merchant payment option. Definitely, I need
mm,
username and password, right?
yes.
Username and password I need, and I need to choose the proper
Mm,
account number
yes.
under a single
Yes.
user. They may have different accounts like FD, RD,
Yes.
saving, current, from which account the money has to be debited. Yeah, all these things you need to consider, right? How the data
Yes.
will be set up in your application. That is what I'm asking. Like username, password, account numbers.
No, sir.
Okay, no problem. So, and coming on to this defect thing, like how you will raise the defect. Are you using some defect tracking tool in your application? when the defect is identified, how will you take it up with the development team?
Mm. We'll try to reproduce it for different 3 times in different environments. Then
Okay,
with proper screenshots and proper to reproduce, the developer should reproduce it. So we'll give the data and the screenshots and send it via email only, sir.
that's okay. Oh, so you will be sending it via email only.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
so
sir.
there was no tool used at all in your
Yes, sir.
organization.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so there are different bug tracking tools are available, something like HPALM, and even in
Oh,
Jira we can raise the defect. And there are a different Bugzilla. So there are different tools available. Okay, simply you can go through. I mean, on the eye
okay.
level, you can go through all these tools. Okay.
Okay.
Do you know something about a defect life cycle or bug life cycle?
Yes, sir. Once the tester identifies the bug, he gives the status as new. Then
Okay.
once the team lead approves it, it is considered as assigned.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, open.
Okay.
Then it is assigned to the developer, and once the developer fixes it, it is assigned as fixed. And then again it comes to the tester and he tests the bug. It comes to the status as tested. Then once verified
Okay.
whether it is again coming or not, reproduced or not, then it is if it is not reproduced, it is closed. In the test thing, if the bug again arises, then the tester sends it as again reopen. The tester will change the status as reopen. Uh, if the while assigning, if the user finds it as a fixed bug or a duplicate bug, he changes the status as duplicate or rejected.
Okay. Okay. That's okay. Uh, what is the difference between bug and error?
Mhm. Bug is functional level, sir. Error is the unexpected behavior of the system.
Okay, that's great. Okay. What is the difference between verification and validation?
Verification, it is done it is to check whether the project related documents are we do the project related document testing is called verification. That is
Okay,
before the code is active. And
right.
uh, validation is once the actual software is developed, we do validation.
Okay, super. Okay. Thank you. I think you are pretty much okay with this manual testing topic. Like since you are a hybrid resource, like you has contributed both in development and testing. I think this knowledge is more than sufficient. And coming on to automation side, test automation side, do you have any knowledge in doing no,
Yes,
automating
I
test
have
cases?
I have done a course in Selenium, sir, Selenium with
Okay,
Java. So
okay.
I
Do you have
I
any
hope I can.
real-time exposure with Selenium in your project?
No, sir.
No, but you know basics and everything, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Uh, how do you initialize the WebDriver?
Um, WebDriver Manager dot Chrome setup dot Chrome driver dot setup.
Okay, I don't want to
Chrome
use the WebDriver manager. Do we have any
oh,
other way? Like,
system dot set property of uh,
okay,
WebDriver dot Chrome dot driver comma that path of my dot exe file.
okay, Okay.
Then
Consider,
that will,
consider I am having different versions of my browser and Chrome driver. Something like
mm,
I have a Chrome browser version 91, but I am using
mm,
Chrome driver as 90. Chrome
mm,
browser version is 91 and driver version is
mm,
90. Will it work
mm.
if I set the property for this version conflict? Will my program gets executed?
No, 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 sir. It won't get
Okay.
executed.
So how do you choose the version of WebDriver and what are all the things that you will consider before downloading the WebDriver? So it should be greater version or
It
greater
should,
version of browser or
it, it should be greater version.
okay. Okay.
No,
Hmm.
there's a greater version only, sir.
Okay. Okay. Um, okay. Coming on to locators, what is the difference between absolute and relative XPath?
Absolute XPath will locate the element from the root node, that is from
Okay.
HTML,
Good.
and we use a single slash in that. If the user changes any UI element, this absolute XPath won't work. And
Okay.
in relative XPath, we can directly jump onto the required node, and it will be it will use tag name, and
Okay.
we'll use a double slash for that. And this is using relative XPath is advisable. Even if the UI is changed, it won't affect our code.
Okay. What are all the different types of relative XPaths you have used?
Mm. By that ID,
No,
I don't know, sir.
I'm relative XPath. In how many ways we can write the relative XPath?
Mm, I don't know, sir.
So when we have multiple attributes in the web element, how do you use both?
Hard
I mean,
element and single element.
no, no. Consider in a single web element, something like I
Mm,
have a submit button. When I inspect the
mm,
submit button, I can see more than two attributes in it. I want to
mm.
use both the two attributes in my relative XPath. How do you use it? I want both the attribute strings should be matched in relative XPath. Consider there are attributes, something like type is equal to submit, and ID is
Okay.
equal to button.
And operator.
Good. So, and what are all
And
the
operator.
other operators that you have?
Or operator
Okay.
contains,
Yes,
following,
that is what I am
preceding.
asking. So these are all
Okay.
different types of relative XPath. Okay.
Okay. So,
Consider when I'm using text function for writing the relative
yes.
XPath, my text
Okay, sir.
has some spaces in the UI.
Okay.
It has some additional spaces in the leading and trail end. How do you ignore this text when you are using it in the XPath, relative XPath? I want to write a XPath using text function. So
Okay,
when I'm
sir.
using text function, I can see in the UI, when I'm
Yes,
inspecting the
sir.
element, the text has some additional spaces in the leading and
Yes, sir.
trail end. So how do you write the relative XPath using text function for this particular scenario?
I don't remember, sir.
Okay. Have you used
Yes, contains.
contains of text that we can
Yeah.
use? Or have you
Yes, sir.
used one more function which is used to avoid the spaces in the text, normalized space. There was a function called normalized space. If you're using that function, it will simply ignore the spaces. It will simply normalize the space and it will match exactly with the text that you have given.
Okay, sir.
Okay, no problem. What is the difference between find element and find elements?
Find element returns a single web element.
Okay,
Um, um, and whenever if there is no such element, it will throw no such element exception.
great.
Find elements will return a list of web elements, and
Okay,
if there is no such element, it will return zero.
okay, it will return 0. How do you
Mhm.
iterate? Yes, so what is the return type of find elements?
Uh, List of web elements, sir.
Okay, okay, great. How do you iterate the list in Java?
Um, Suppose I'm having list of web elements. Um, Let it be links, um, and I'm getting driver dot find driver dot find element of by dot tag name of a. Then for let my new that iterative link be link colon links system dot out dot println of get of get text of link link dot
That's
get text.
yes, yes, that's okay. In general, what are all the different ways of iterating the list? So list is the interface in Java, right? In
Yes, sir.
list, what are all the different ways that we can iterate the list in Java? One you have answered, for loop.
For,
Do
for
we have
loop,
any other way?
for each loop.
Okay, for each loop. Have you used
For
iterator, list iterator
yes, yes.
in while loop?
Mm.
Yes, and that we can use. There are three ways
Yes,
where we can
yes,
iterate
yes.
the list in
List.
Java. Okay,
Okay.
okay. Okay, how do you get the title of the web page from Selenium?
Um, um, Using get title method.
Okay, okay. What is the difference between implicit weight and explicit weight?
Uh, Implicit wait um, waits for the waits for the specified time. They wait for the specified time for all the web elements in the current instance, current WebDriver instance. Um, uh, we can give it as driver dot manage dot timeouts dot implicit wait of uh, 5 comma 5 minute seconds. Then the if we have given it as seconds, it will wait for 5 seconds. If we have given it for milliseconds, it will wait for those milliseconds. um, this is applied to all the web elements in the current driver instance, for explicit wait. uh, it is applied to the specified particular web element.
Okay.
And you want me to write the code, sir?
No problem, no problem. Just tell me what are all the different conditions that we have in explicit weight?
uh,
Like what are all the conditions you have learned?
Element to be clickable, alert is present,
Okay,
title contains, or
okay, okay, super. Okay. How do you take a screenshot using Selenium?
mm, through the take screenshot class.
Take screenshot interface. It's not a class, right?
Sorry,
Okay.
okay, so take screenshot ts equal to take screenshot of I will typecast the driver as that interface, and then
Typecasting. Okay.
mm,
What do you mean by
yes,
typecasting?
so that the driver instance will be taken as take screenshots in instance.
Okay. Okay. Can you tell me the structure of a web table? How the web table looks like? So what are all the tags have been used in web table?
Uh, Table,
Yeah,
th,
web table. Yes.
tr,
Okay. TH
and t,
represents.
column heading.
Okay. TD, TR.
Tr is for row,
Okay.
td is for each cell.
Super. How do you get the number of rows present in a web table?
Slash slash input tag name slash slash input. So
Okay, no
using
problem.
please, uh, could you please tell me the question again, sir?
Now, how do you get the number of rows present in a web table? Just
You want me to write that?
yeah, yeah,
T.
right. Yeah, it's better to
Uh,
write the XPath also, or at least tell me the. I mean, orally just um, uh,
yes.
tell me the
I'll
XPath.
get the tag.
Okay, tag name of
Uh,
what?
uh, tag name of that row.
Okay,
Mm, if I
okay. What are all the? Okay, no problem. Okay,
yes,
uh, so have you used any frameworks in your Selenium?
yes, test engine.
Okay. In TestNG,
Yes,
how do you skip a test case? Consider I have 5 different test cases in a class. I
okay,
want to skip
okay.
2 different test cases. How it can be skipped using TestNG?
Is enabled equal to false.
Okay. Okay, fine. How do you set the priority in TestNG?
Uh, if I give the priority equal to zero or sorry 1, 2, then default priority is 0. So I'll give it as priority equal to 1
What
and
is the highest priority that it will get?
0.
Okay, 0. So it starts from 0, 1, 2, 3.
Yes,
Basically
sir.
it starts from index. Okay. Uh, how do you read the data from an Excel sheet?
From excessive workbook. Uh,
Okay, that excessive workbook is coming from what? Which library? So do you need to add any external jars in order to have uh, uh, data in your, to read and write the data from Excel sheet?
yes, sir. Apache POI
Apache POI, yes. Apache POI
Georgia.
is a jar. So from that library only, this excessive workbook is coming. Okay,
Okay, sir.
okay. Have you um, used a page object model in your framework?
Yes, sir.
What is page object model and what are all the advantages of page object model?
Um, uh, for each page in the web application, we'll create a Java class, and the corresponding test scripts will be in separate files. We can uh, we map those. We get the actions and variables from those test scripts. Um, it, uh, for it, the advantages. Code reusability and it will be easy to maintain.
That's good. Okay, it is one of the design pattern, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, so page object model is the design pattern in which we used to have a dedicated class for the page in your application. Suppose I have five different pages, means for all the five pages, I should be having all five individual Java classes. So that is the objective, so that we can achieve page repository of objects, web elements, and everything. Okay, what do you mean by page factory? Have you used page factory in your
Yes.
framework?
Mm.
How do you achieve page factory?
Um,
Instead of find element or find elements method, using page factory, we can implement this thing, right? How do you implement page factory? Have you used add find by annotation?
Yes, sir.
That is page factory.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay, add find by, and you can store the web element as like a variable that is stored in Java. So, okay, how do you initialize page factory? Do you have any idea about initializing the page factory?
Using innate elements method.
Init elements. Okay,
Yes, sir.
that is there in which class?
I don't know, sir.
Page factory dot init elements.
Innate elements. Okay.
Okay, how do you access static methods in Java?
Um,
This init elements is basically a static method.
using
How you are accessing it?
using using
Using
class name.
class name. Very good. How do you access non-static method?
By creating a constructor.
Okay, creating a constructor. Okay, coming on to version control tool, have you ever used the tool called Git and GitHub?
No, sir.
You have not used it. Git.
No, sir.
Sorry?
SVN and
Okay.
Visual
Which,
source. If
okay, so you don't have any idea about Git and GitHub, right?
yes, sir.
Or do you have any basic knowledge about version control? What the version control is doing and why version control is needed?
So that we can have the track of the bills.
Great. Okay. Okay. Okay, madam. That's it from my end. I think we have done this discussion. Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
So you should improve your knowledge on different approaches in software development life cycle. Like at least you have to learn about SDLC, Agile, so basic concepts, not to
Mm,
the advanced level, like basics of SDLC and V model. So we have different
mm,
types of software development methodologies. So just
mm,
to have basic idea, you please throw some light over there.
mm,
And when you are arriving the test case scenarios, so you should be very careful. So when when the requirement is given to you, you need to
mm.
arrive the scenarios by considering different factors.
Okay, sir.
Suppose take this example itself, like a merchant payment. Consider the merchant is totally invalid. He is not in
Mm,
the actual list. He is not
mm,
from Flipkart, Amazon. He is some other merchant who is not at all recognized by our bank. So that is one test case when the user is trying to pay to the merchant when that particular merchant is not at all listed in our bank. Second thing is
Okay.
if he is having insufficient fund, the user is having insufficient
Mm,
to
mm, mm,
pay the merchant. So this is my second scenario. And similarly,
mm,
you can arrive different n number of scenarios. From scenarios only, you have to arrive the test cases. You have to
mm,
derive all the
mm,
test cases from the each and every scenario. Scenarios
mm.
broadly can be classified into two different types. One is positive, another one is negative. Positive is
Negative.
successful flow, negative is
Mm,
unsuccessful flow, basically. And coming on
okay.
to test data preparation, you need to concentrate. Like how, because obviously we need username, password, and relevant accounts to be added, and relevant merchant should be added in your system, in your testing
Mm,
system, in order to test all
mm.
these things, right? Test data
Yes.
generally uh, can be done by the backend team. Backend team can
Mm,
post their data in the DB so that you make use of all the data for proceeding testing. And so
mm.
this is how you need to prepare the test data. Because test data is
Okay.
also very, very important. Only having test cases will not going to help us.
Mm, mm.
And coming on to
Yes.
locators, please concentrate more on writing relative XPath using single
Okay, sir.
attribute, multiple attribute. When it comes to the multiple attributes, you may have to use and or operators,
Mm,
right? And then how to
mm,
use text function, how to use contains function, how to normalize space. There is a function, and coming on to web tables, try to know how to get
mm.
the number of rows, number of columns, how to get a particular data from from a particular column or particular row. So everything is basically a XPath. There, everything is
Yes.
basically XPath, and uh, in a framework also you need to concentrate on different areas like um, reading and writing the data from Excel sheet.
Okay.
So the library being used for reading the data from Excel is Apache YOE.
Yes, yes.
You need to
Mm,
define the
mm.
exact classes being used. Like if it is for
Okay.
XLSX, what should be the
Mm,
file class name should be used? If it is XLS, what should be the set of interfaces we need to use? So that is another point. And
yes.
uh, in in Git and GitHub, it is very much mandatory to know about it because
Mm,
nowadays
mm,
people are using it. Git and GitHub is the famous and widely used tools across the market. So learning some basics about Git and GitHub is really mandatory for us. And
okay, sir.
other than this, you are okay. When you are telling your responsibilities, please be clear with the role that you have played. Like clearly you need to define, and clearly you need to tell them like this is my job and this is my daily
Mm,
activity, and have contributed to this company on these areas. Like this
mm,
you need to have at least 5 to 10 responsibilities with you.
mm.
Since you are a
Okay.
hybrid resource, like you have been contributing
Okay.
in both development and testing, and there should be separate responsibilities for development and testing as well. You need to explicitly tell all these things to the interviewer.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Okay, that's it from my end. Do you have any other question?
Uh, no, sir. இப்போ இந்த
Thank you.